Hey, right now on Elektrowerks, I have the band Drakenwerks. So, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, thank you.
So, for those who don't know you, tell us who are you guys and what is your music like?
Okay, so we're Drakenwerks. We're from Wales. We do a lot of dark electro industrial style music. We've been going for about 6 years now. A lot of it was originally experimental, but these days just tend to got itself a bit more into a bit more of a normal sort of beat and riff that you normally hear. We do a lot of stuff based on depression. We do a lot of stuff based on our take on the internet and that kind of stuff, really.
I remember a few years ago at Beat Cancer that when I won the raffle prize, your album was in it. I believe that was No Prisoners. That was from 2016, is that correct? Yeah. Since then, you've had a couple, you've had your first album, which I believe you're reworking, and you have a third album as well. So tell us about your albums and what's the state of your music at the moment?
Okay, so so the first album we had was Prototype to Destruction. I hated that album, I'll be honest. It was when I first started getting into music. I'd never done music before, so I made this album, and afterwards it was all right for the time, and then I went on and I learned a lot more stuff. We started working with producers and we did all sorts of stuff, and I look back at the first album and I thought, well, that's rubbish. So I ripped that one away from being sold, and we're in the process of rebuilding that one. So we've already released one EP of that.
Songs on it, but it was self-produced. So after we did the second album with a proper producer, we realised what the difference would be to actually getting music professionally produced.
So yeah, we're in the process of re-releasing that album as a series of EPs. So the first one's already been released, and we've got another 2 yet to come. But our latest album came out about a year ago, and that was Age of Information. It's mainly our take on the internet and the world of the internet, social media, all that sort of stuff, and the way it influences us.
A lot more.
Yeah, and she sings a lot more on it. When we originally started, it was just basically all my sort of work, my sort of stuff. And then when we first started playing live, I grabbed Kelly and brought her into it. And then gradually you've done more and more and started singing more, including doing the very first ever industrial Welsh track, so a track done in Welsh.
Which I take lead on. Draken had this brilliant idea to write a song in Welsh, which is great, but then he realised he couldn't actually pronounce any Welsh. So he was trying to get me to teach him how to say the words, and he wasn't getting them at all. So in the end I just said, do you want me to sing it instead? So he was like, okay. So I kind of took over lead on that song.
Okay. And that song that's in Welsh, is that on
That's on Age of Information. That's the latest album. Yes, the latest album.
And do you have any more in the works at the moment? Are you working on anything?
We've got a few EPs currently in the works at the moment. A lot of them in a sort of half-finished state. So we've got a few EPs to be keeping us going over the next couple of years. Obviously, we've got the 2 more prototype EPs to release. I've got a few others that are under various working titles in a number of different sort of types of genres as well. So a lot of it's still going to be in the industrial genre, but I've been also working a little bit on some synthwave stuff as well. So just experimenting out a little bit as well, just expanding out what we do as well as we go through it.
Yeah, of course. It seems to be a common thing I found, where industrial music and synthwave music, you know, most people love them both and people get involved in them both. So your third album and what you're working on now, is it the same? Because I've only really heard No Prisoners, and it put me in the mind of God Module, sort of Cyclone 9, that kind of dark stuff. So is the stuff on your third album, what you're doing now, similar or very different?
Third album is very similar to No Prisoners, so it's possibly even a little bit more dancier than what No Prisoners was. So that one's a little bit more in that sort of vein there. That one's
female vocals.
A lot more female vocals on that one as well. But some of the newer stuff, some of it will be in that same sort of vein. Some of it will be going off at a right angle, as you might say, just learning and experimenting other stuff as well. So we'll see what comes out of it, though. But still a long way on the production process at the moment. But we've got a lot of stuff that's in the ready to go.
Okay, and do you guys have any more shows lined up? Have you got any plans for next year?
Not at this stage. I'm always constantly working. This is the last one we got booked at the moment. We were talking to a couple of people about a few other shows at the moment, but nothing actually released at this stage. We do a lot of promoting ourselves in Wales as well, so a lot of the time we're also inviting bands over. Like we invited Leverstrip over about a month ago, had them come and play with us in Cardiff as well. So we like inviting people up there. So we might do a couple of things there, and maybe we'll shoot off around the country, do our own thing, or see what's available, you know?
Yeah. And what's the industrial scene like in Cardiff? Is there good clubs over there?
There is. The biggest club down there is actually in Swansea, which is Dead and Night, which we both DJ at as well on a regular basis. That's been going for about...
Interestingly, talking about the new album, Draken was DJing at the last Dead of Night club night in Swansea, and he did actually play a brand new Drakenwerks track there that he had literally just written that morning.
Yeah, no, literally, you just got inspired in the morning. That's one of the nice things about being a DJ at clubs sometimes, is that you can actually, sometimes when it's early on and you haven't got many people in there and you're like, I wonder what this sounds like on a big sound system. Yeah. You're in a club, you might as well take advantage of it, and you just sneak it in there, and then you just put it on the playlist afterwards as classified, and everyone's like, what's that then? Sort of thing. But people are getting used to it. Cardiff itself, though, there's a few clubs around there and everything else that have been going on now recently. We used to run a club night ourselves in Cardiff. That shut down a couple of years ago because we concentrated on Drakenwerks, but there's been a few clubs after then which are all doing quite well for themselves as well. The scene's pretty big down there, and it seems to be growing as well at the moment, which is a good thing.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing your set tonight, guys. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
thank you for joining us.